Hey guys, Verge here, Verge Boogie Designs, here today to talk about how I became a freelance graphic designer and how you can become a freelance graphic designer as well. Let's get started. So the first thing that I want to go ahead and touch on is, what is a freelance graphic designer? To me, a freelance graphic designer is someone who works for different people at different times and different companies at different times, and you're not employed by one person. And the best thing about this is that you are your own boss. No one has to tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. You create your own structure, and that is the best part about being a freelance graphic designer, is because all the responsibilities are on you. It is challenging, but it is totally worth it. I guarantee it. Definitely you want to make sure that if you want to become a freelance graphic designer, that with those responsibilities, are they right for you? That's the question you gotta ask yourself. And how I became a freelance graphic designer is crazy because the life chose me. I didn't choose this life initially. I wanted to work for a company, wanted to work in an art studio, and just be on a team and everything. But along my process, my journey, I figured like, hey, I like working by myself. I like working for myself. This is very rewarding. I get to work on my time. I don't have to work on anyone else's time. This is awesome. So like about 4 years back actually, I went to design school, and from there we had projects that we had to do, but on top of that I did my own practice, because once I went to college I figured out what graphic design was, and it opened me up to a new world of possibilities, of things I can do. And it was amazing that I couldn't just do the projects that they were giving me in class. I had to do my own creative process and create my own projects, do my own graphics, logos, or any type of flyer that I wanted to create, just to get my practice up, to make sure that I was up to par. So whenever I actually did my projects, that I had skill because I was actually practicing. And then on top of me practicing so much, when I was at college, I was putting all of my stuff on social media. So people were actually seeing my work, and they were like, hey, you're pretty good. How long you been doing this for, you know? And then from there, people started to ask me to do stuff for them. At the time, I was not established as a graphic designer or a freelance graphic designer at that, but I did use the barter system to exchange services between people to go ahead and get paid, in a sense, for my services as a graphic designer. People wanted a logo design. Hey, let me go ahead and get a haircut for this logo design. You got to be able to work your way around. And then I was in college too, so you got to be able to do stuff, because in college they don't pay you enough. So I had to make sure I had to get my money as well. So it was working out for me. And I noticed along the way of continuing to do this, more and more people started to come and ask me, hey, can I get a project in this? Hey, can you do that? And I'm like, you know what? I'm about to get paid for this, you know? So I started to establish myself as a graphic designer, and I put my services out there and I offered them to the public. You know, I was like, you know what? I identified myself as Verge Boogie Designs, and I started to begin my journey in being a freelance graphic designer. And I ended up here, the life of a designer. So you never know where your journey can take you. You can be doing this, or you can actually just simply be running your business and making sure everything is good there. But that's just a little of my backstory. Maybe I'll create another video so you guys can get the full scope on how I became, the challenges, how I became a graphic designer, the challenges, what I had to go through to live this lifestyle. So 4 things you need to do on becoming a freelance graphic designer. Just starting out, this isn't the end all be all on what you need to do, but at least to get started on becoming a freelance graphic designer. So the first thing that's very important on becoming a freelance graphic designer is that you must do your research. You need to figure out what you need to do, how it's done, and how to go about it, because this is something totally new, and you need to make sure you understand from people who is already doing it how to do it, because that's how I got my information. I researched, asked my professors, you know, how should I price things, you know, how should I go about this process, is there any legal documents that I need to do, all of that, this, that, and the third, so I can be well equipped with my knowledge on becoming a freelance graphic designer. Research and graphic design go hand in hand, and you'll figure that out as you are on this journey on becoming a freelance graphic designer. On top of research, the second thing you must do is that, or have actually, the second thing you must have is passion. Because if you're doing this for the money, you're going to find yourself quitting very early. Because people who do this for the money don't last long at all. You got to have that passion that wakes you up out of bed, that makes you want to start doing that project, that you need to have that passion so no one is telling you, hey, where's my project? Hey, you got to start on this. Hey, what's going on? No, because the passion will dictate all of that. You'll be getting out of bed and you'll be making sure all of that is done, making sure you do the research, making sure you're on top of things to make sure that everything is good. So passion is very important. If you don't have passion for graphic design, why did you start in the first place? You might as well work somewhere else or do something else with your time. Because when you are passionate about something, it doesn't even feel like you're working. It just feels like you're living. And that's what we ultimately want to do. We want to live our dreams. We want to live and actually not have to work for somebody else for the rest of our life and actually work for ourselves, because that is much more rewarding. I guarantee it. And the third thing that you need to do on becoming a freelance graphic designer is that you must practice. Practice, practice, practice. Because don't think that, okay, anytime someone comes at you, that's when you're going to work and that's when you're going to actually exercise your graphic design muscles. No, you must practice, practice, practice. Give yourself personal projects. Make sure you research new skills online and apply those. There's people out there with tutorials. Practice those tutorials and get those skills under your belt, and then you'll be able to equip those with the projects that you have the next time they come around. So you want to practice. As they've been telling you forever, practice makes perfect, and there's no such thing as perfect. So you're going to be practicing for a lifetime, but that's going to come hand in hand for what you want to do. Practice is important. Don't stop practicing, because it's going to help you become the greatest that you can be. Because I've been doing this for about 5-6 years now, and I've been practicing each and every time that I do a project, that I test a new skill, that I watch a tutorial. It's very important that you practice, because if you don't practice, then you will not make it in this world. And the last thing you want to do after you done did the research and you do have passion, you did practice, is that you want to identify yourself. Now you have all of this information, now you done practice and you figured out what you want to do. Be a logo designer, be a motion graphic designer, whatever you want to do in graphic design, you want to start to identify yourself. Me, who I am, I'm Verge Boogie Designs. I'm a logo designer. I do other services such as business card designing, flyer designing, things such as that nature, graphics for t-shirt, print, and for websites. So you want to make sure you identify yourself on what you're doing, how you're doing it, so whenever people are looking for you, they know what you do and they're not so confused, because graphic design is such a vague thing now. You can be doing product design, you can be doing motion graphic design, you can be doing logo design. So you want to make sure that you identify yourself as that graphic designer you are, so people know who to look for and what you do when they're looking for you. And identifying yourself makes it easier for you to position yourself in the marketplace, so therefore you're able to gain clients in that particular field of what they're looking for. So make sure you do these 4 things when you're getting started out and becoming a freelance graphic designer. And there's so much more you'll figure out from doing the first thing is researching. And I guarantee that becoming a freelance graphic designer will be challenging, but it will be rewarding. So I wish you nothing but success on your journey on becoming a freelance graphic designer. And I appreciate you for tuning in. This is The Life of a Designer, and we'll be here kicking up knowledge each and every single week, making sure you guys are informed on how to become a freelance graphic designer, what it is to be a designer in general. I appreciate you for tuning in this week on the L.O.A.D series. Verge Boogie Designs. Peace.